I still remember that day as if it was yesterday. It was October 4th, 2009, and I had just crossed the finish line of my first 5K race. And I was elated, I was excited. I went to hug my family, and then I started to cry. I started to cry like a baby. You see, 7 years prior, I had abandoned my career as an attorney in order to stay home with my child, Nico, who had been recently diagnosed with autism. I became his full-time caregiver, and I was not only his mom, but I was his teacher, I was his therapist, I was his advocate, I was his program intervention manager. I became the super autism mom, and in the process, I lost myself. I was burned out, I was overwhelmed, I had no identity anymore. My identity was based on being my son's caregiver. And I was close to losing my mental health several times. And I didn't know how to get out of this situation. I was living my life on autopilot, and I was stuck in this circle of burnout and overwhelmed. And it just so happened that when my son was about 9 years old, we were offered a gift that would change my life forever. My son was offered a guide dog. And at the time, we had no choice but to take the dog out. My husband was traveling a lot, so I had no choice but to take the dog out, even if I had no time for myself. And I started taking the dog out. And I remember the 5 days after I started taking the dog out, I realized that it had been ages since I hadn't been with myself, by myself, and then just taking time for me. And these little walks turned into jogs, which then turned into, I started running. And at the beginning, I had no endurance. I was going up and down the street, then I was going around the block. I was, I was red as a tomato, but I didn't care. I just wanted to go out and take care of me, because I had not had the time to take care of myself. And I remember 3 months after I started running, I went to this running store where I registered. I was going to, there were two ladies there selling tickets for a fundraiser. And it was actually a 5K race. And at the time, I had not run more than 3K, but I told myself, something magical happened. I said to myself, you know what, I'm going to register for this race. And I did this race, and I remember turning back, and I was not the last one, and I was elated. This was the moment that changed my life forever. I realized then, it was an epiphany. I realized then and there that I needed to take charge. I needed to take care of my physical, my mental, and emotional health in order to be the best mom I could be to my son, in order to have the longevity, the mental strength, and the vitality to take care of my son well into his older years. And I became hungry. I became hungry for information. I wanted to know everything I could about self-care tips, self-care strategies that I could implement in my daily life in order to manage the chronic stress that is associated with taking care of a severely autistic child who's now 18. And I reinvented myself. That's why I'm here. My name is Claudia Taboada, and I am the author of the recently published book, memoir, Burnout to Unstoppable. And in the next minutes, I will be sharing with you the self-care tools that I use in my daily life. And I believe that we can avoid burnout and combat stress by establishing a bulletproof self-care routine, one that will set us up for success, even when the external circumstances like stress, like overwhelm, like anxiety are in overdrive, just like in these times of COVID-19. And I believe too that in order for us to take self-care seriously, we need to have a mindset shift. We need to realize that self-care, it's not a luxury, but it is a necessity. And I use I believe that in order for a successful self-care self-care routine, we need to have five different elements. A successful self-care routine needs to be holistic. That means that we need to touch at not only the physical health, but also the mental health and the emotional well-being. It needs to be consistent, i.e., on a daily basis. It needs to be intentional. You need to take action, and every day you need to schedule time, be deliberate in taking time for yourself. It needs to be flexible. It doesn't matter if you don't have a lot of time. It starts small. Start small, do a morning routine or an evening routine before you go to bed, or do separate, like small periods during the day, which is what I do. And it also needs to be non-negotiable, no guilt, no excuses. So let's go now and look at the 3 pillars of my self-care, for an unstoppable self-care routine. First of all, we need to take care of the body. We need to take care of the mind. And we need to take care of the emotional well-being. Now, as far as the mind, the body is concerned, the body, we need to take care of the body. The body is our temple. The physical wellness is the foundation to the pyramid. If the pyramid is shaky, if the foundation is shaky, you will not be able to reach your full potential, and you will not be able to take care of others. So we need to take care of the body first. And by that, if we look at the 4 core elements of physical wellness, we look at nutrition, we look at hydration, sleep, and exercise. Now, with regards to nutrition, we don't have a lot of time to go into deep into nutrition, but I would say that having a nutritious and balanced diet, it's key. And don't skip meals. Try to eat 3 times a day and have small snacks. Hydration. For hydration, we need to try to drink at least between 6 and 8 glasses of water a day. Sleep is huge. Sleep, try to sleep, go to bed with your kids if your kids have sleeping problems like mine, and try to sleep between 6 and 8 hours a day per night. And of course, there's exercise. And exercise is huge. For me, it's probably the key self-care tool. You need to move your body every single day. You need to, even if you don't have time, go for a 15-minute walk, do an exercise video on YouTube, go for a hike, dance, but you need to get the blood flowing. You need to get those feel-good endorphins. Research is anonymous on the fact that exercise is an antidote for stress. It's an antidote for anxiety and for depression. So please move daily. Now, if we go to the mind, I will give you some tips to optimize your mental well-being. And number 1 is to practice stillness and calming the mind. And for that, I would suggest that you do some meditation and mindfulness during the day. It doesn't need to be long, 5-10 minutes, but during your day, you can do it. It can be as easy as doing some breathing exercises, as doing some meditation by using an app, going for a walk, and then just being immersed in your surroundings, you know, thinking, just being in the present moment. It's important so that you don't dwell in the past, you're not fearful for the future. Stay in the moment. And I think meditation and mindfulness are key, and they were key in my journey. And another tip that I can give you with regards to optimizing your mindset, it's optimize your focus. Focus on what you have. Focus on what matters, and focus on what yes, focus on what matters, and focus on what's important in your life. Like, for example, in these times of COVID-19, focus on gratitude. You know, like I see people complaining, oh, you know, we're home, and you know, it's boring, and our kids are here, and like so much to do. But you know what? Focus on the fact that you're not one of the people who are on the front lines. You know, you can stay home with your kids. Your kids are safe. Your kids are healthy. Focus on gratitude. I always begin my morning by jotting down 3 things that I'm grateful for, because they say gratitude is the antidote to fear and to anger. So optimize your focus. The other thing too that you can do, especially in times of collective stress like this times, is feed your mind. Feed your mind with positivity, and try to preserve your growth, your mental growth. And for that, what I do is I watch the news, but I don't binge on the news. You know, I turn the news off, and I try to listen to audiobooks, to inspiring podcasts, to read books about personal growth, about mindset, so that you are in a positive state, and that you are not you know, stressed by the external environment. So that is key for me, to be able to feed the mind and to keep it, to preserve a growth mindset and a positive outlook at all times. And now, with regards to the emotional wellness, I'm going to give you 2 tips. I practice journaling. Journaling has been a lifesaver in my journey with my son. And research is clear that that they have found that journaling can help the brain regulate emotions and thoughts. And it can be a great way to relieve stress and anxiety. So I journal every single day for about 10 minutes. Either I do it in the morning, or I do it in the before going to bed. But I start with listing my 3 things that I'm grateful for. Then I just take, you know, just write anything and everything that comes to mind. If I have ideas for my projects, if I have, you know, if I want to remind myself of things, good things that I did during the day, I write them down. If I have, you know, fears, you know, for my son, I write them down as well. And then I finish by listing my 3, by setting myself up for the day, for success for the day. So I list the 3 things, my 3 objectives for the day. And that helps me organize my day as well. So I practice journaling daily. Then the other important aspect to optimize your emotional wellness is to optimize your village. And by village, I mean your friends, your family, the people that are around you with regards to your kids. You know, in my case, it's my son's teacher, you know, my son's teacher, his therapist, and just making sure that you surround yourself with positive people, people that encourage you, that motivate you. And in these times of COVID-19, it is important that we keep the connections going, even if, you know, we can do it by Zoom call, by Zoom, by doing FaceTime, but it is important not to be isolated, you know. uh, keep keep your village, you know, preserve your village, and be connected. And so these are my tips. I hope that you know, with that they will serve you in this COVID-19 lockdown. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can go to my website, claudiataboada.com. And I will be, I told Don that I will be gifting our audience a free ebook of my memoir, Burnout to Unstoppable. Have a great day.
Well, Claudia, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with me and with the rest of the people that are watching out there right now on Facebook Live and will listen to this later. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
You know, a couple of things that you talked about really resonated with me. One was journaling.
Yes.
And, you know, I think sometimes the struggle that we have with journaling is we get so busy. You know, I got to get up, I got to eat, I got to get in the car so I can commute, so I can go to a meeting. Well, a lot of those pressures have been relieved a little bit for most of us.
Yes, now, yeah, these days, of course, yeah.
For me, like, I don't know about you, but my journaling is 5 or 10 minutes. It's not like some big, long, drawn out like thing that takes me an hour and a half, right? It's very fast. And how long does it you usually journal for?
Yeah, about 10 minutes. And you know what I do is, like, I have a little journal, like something that I can put in my bag. And sometimes I just, you know, like I just take out if I have an idea, or something, I take my journal and I write. And you know, so it's something that I do, like, you know, regularly, but, you know, like in my routine, I incorporate it for like in the morning, either like 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, but I bring with me my journal. I have a little journal that I can take with me all the time, so that I can jot down things and, you know, information or ideas. So, and I think it's for me, it has changed my life, you know, to be able to journal, you know, just like it gives me some, you know, like as the weight of my shoulders, you know, it relaxes me. It relaxes me, and it's important for me because my journey of chronic stress with my son, it's a daily struggle, but, you know, I'm able to deal with it now because I have my self-care routine.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And also, you brought up your village, the community. And I've actually found my community has exploded. Like, I have made more connections and friends. And I mean, I've met 130 speakers at minimum, right?
It's true.
It's true.
I agree.
It's never been easier
I
to
agree.
connect. It's never been easier.
Yes. No, I agree. You know, I've been going to challenges and things, and I'm getting all like this amazing friends. I mean, people that like-minded people that I'm connecting with, that I probably would not have had time or the opportunity to connect with these people, because, you know, now we're home and we're trying to stay positive. You know, we're trying to stay inspired. And I find that it's been amazing. I mean, it's hard to, you know, to be able to be with the kids 24/7 and all that, but I believe that for the mindset, it's done wonders. I mean, it's really a time to grow, I believe, if we want to.